Welcome to Attenuation, a weekly podcast where two friends come together to drink beer, discuss beer styles and trends, and just generally ruminate on the meaning of life, aka beer. If you enjoy your time with us, we invite you to become a weekly listener and subscribe to the podcast. Without further ado, here is this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome to episode 32 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
Hello.
How's it going today, Steven?
Fantastic.
That's good to hear. So today, our topic is going to be good, bad, and ugly beer names. So we have done some research, and we're going to report on some fun and interesting and not so great beer names, and kind of talk about some trends in beer names, etc. So it should be kind of a playful episode today.
Well, with the now extensive craft beer world, breweries have had to get pretty creative with their beer names.
Yes, I feel like it's been a ever evolving arms race of who can have the coolest or the funniest name. So. All right, well, before we get into the main topic, we got to do the best part of the podcast, and that's for us at least, and that's drinking beer. So I will introduce my beer, give some nose notes, and then I will pass it to Steven to do the same. Last week, as you know, it was quite a big miss for me. So this week, I'm not messing around. I have a beer from Other Half. And
yeah, the miss was big because the expectations was so high. Yes,
that's true. I thought it was going to be a Jason beer, and it was a nobody beer. Nah, I'm sure somebody likes it. And not to mention, this beer, I did not pick it for this reason, but I think it has kind of a cool name. It's Deep Orbit Centaurus, which I'm sure is like some nearby galaxy or something like that. But this is an Imperial Stout with vanilla, figs, almonds, and cinnamon. And it's 16%. And I don't have this cap, so I'm really excited.
And you're like adding to your cap collection weekly now. Ooh, that's a good Other Half cap.
Yeah,
Nice.
I didn't ever have one, so yeah. Really up in the cap collection. Look at this. This is pouring basically pitch black, which I would sort of expect from a beer like this. And then it does have like a brown head, quickly dissipated, but it does kind of lace up the side of the glass.
I was gonna say, it looked like black oil coming out of that
right?
bottle.
Yeah. Oh, the figs and the vanilla are very present on the nose. And it's a kind of boozy flavor, like syrup. Like, almost smells like icing on a cake or like maple syrup. And the vanilla is super strong. This, I think, is going to make up for last week. So I'm going to taste this one, and you can introduce your beer.
All right. This week, I am drinking a Pilsner, which is kind of a change of pace, kind of nice. This is a New Zealand style Pilsner. So I kind of looked it up. Really, it's just kind of a combination sort of Pilsner, Kolsch. Usually they used New Zealand hops, which this does. So the New Zealand style hops are Nelson Sauvin, Southern Cross, and YET. This is a fresh hop beer. So the hops were used whole cone straight off the harvest.
I'm so jealous.
Oh, and it's Stormbreaker Brewing. And it's What We Brew in the Shadows. So it will probably end up falling into the category of beer names that take themselves a little too seriously.
One of our categories is epic / taking themselves way too seriously. It's a fine line.
Yeah, it's a fine line. But if the beer's really good, then
you earn the title. But you can't name yourself the beer to end all beers and then be like mediocre. You know what I mean?
Right,
so you got to be really careful with those epic names. It's a double-edged sword.
Okay, so this is the beer drinker's beer right here. Golden color, clear, really, really thick head that is going to hang around for quite a while, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
So one of those where you just drink through it. You get the beer head mustache. So aromas are lemon, grass, pine, maybe a touch of like citrusy orange. Yeah, so like lemon, orange, grass, and pine, and sort of a very bready malt, which you would expect to get in a Pilsner, where you get like a really clean malt smell, and that's definitely coming through here.
Nice.
Oh, this should be fun.
All right, Steven, we made up for last week. This is excellent. Thumbs up for sure. It's a perfect dessert stout. Like perfect.
Wow.
On the entrance, you get sweet fig and dark fruits. And then cinnamon. The cinnamon really comes through on the entrance. And then it develops into vanilla. And then you get, same thing you get with fundamental observation. It's like brownie batter. Like that.
Nice.
That's the only way I can describe it. And then like donut glaze. And then, do you know what amaretto is?
Yeah.
You get like amaretto. It tastes a lot like amaretto. And then just this boozy cinnamon. It's almost like brandy on the finish. Because it has that strong alcohol note. And it just completely coats your mouth. It's really good.
Dang.
Yeah, I really like this one. This is kind of just something I look for in a... It's just kind of like you'd want to have it. It's not like something you would just drink out of the blue. Something you'd want to have like after a heavy meal, like a steak dinner or something, and it's cold. And then you just have this basically as dessert.
Nice.
So,
warms you up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. With that 16%, you got to be careful. But yeah, a total sipping stout, like I'm sure like as it warms, I'll notice even, more flavors in it, but just very complex, but very enjoyable. No off notes really, just different things unfolding. So
Awesome.
yeah, I don't remember how I got this, maybe from Tavor, but dang, if I see this again, I'll pick it up.
I think anytime you see an other half stout, you should probably grab it.
Yeah, other half does not miss usually.
Cool. Well,
your fresh hop beer?
Well, what's really funny is I feel like mine is on the far end of the whatever spectrum beer is. I'm on the other side because I'm drinking a lager, but it's really, really good. So it's like very crisp, light, kind of a lemon lime flavor at the front with that sort of mild cereal grain breadiness. And then as it develops, so it's very, very lager forward, but then as it develops, you get this rush of hop flavor. It's very much sort of like tangerine, grapefruit, pine bitterness that lingers in a really dry finish. And man, I mean, if I had had this for my first beer ever, I would like, this is how you get into craft beer right here. I mean, this is like a fresh hop version. Mm-hmm. So the beer, what we brew in the shadows is something they make all the time. And then this is just a fresh hop version of it. So it'd be interesting to compare the two, but I mean, I'm sure the normal version's fine too. And like I said, it's just, if you want to get into craft beer and you're mostly a macro drinker, drink this.
It's a gateway beer, huh?
Yeah. Just because it would be very familiar in some ways, but it would push you just a little bit in other ways. And the IBU is like 28, so it's not a huge hop bitterness, but that's like I don't know. I always found that when I first started liking hops, 25 to 45 was kind of the best range of IBUs. If it had it listed on the can, it was just always a good sort of metric for, hey, this is hoppy, but not crazy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's right there in that wheelhouse of just sort of pushing your palate just a little bit to say, hey, this is what hops taste like. And I think with the fresh hops too, that hop oil is just coming through.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So anyway, this is awesome.
Okay, so thumbs up, but the more important question and very relevant to today's episode, does it earn its epic name?
Well, the problem is, I think I feel like if someone said like, oh, there's this beer called what we brew in the shadows, like what kind of beer do you think it is? I'd be like, stout.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like it sounds like a dark name for a dark beer. So it's kind of a weird name for like a light. Yeah, this should be like
we brew in the sunlight and put fresh hops in.
Exactly. It should be like summertime sunset or something.
All right, you heard it here. Steven and I will
officially rename your beer.
Yes, for a small fee that we can discuss and can be paid in beer, we will rename your beers for you. We're very in touch with the youth. Actually, we're not. We're very in touch with middle-aged men. I don't even know if that's true. Okay, well, we have a beer podcast, okay? And we can rename your beers, so. We just want a case.
Yeah, we're in touch with anybody.
Each other.
All my Instagram followers.
All 40 of them. All right, cool. Well, I'm glad we both have a beer we like today. That's awesome.
Yeah, we nailed it.
Okay, so we
had
can
to
go to our
recover
next...
from last week.
I know. That's why I was like, I'm going with other half, dude. I'm not messing around. All right, so Next, we have, do we have beer news today, Stevie? Because we have a new segment. It's beer news if there's good beer news, and if there's not, or if we feel like we missed something on the last episode, we call it postscript.
I will do a short postscript.
Okay.
Only because as I was editing and listening to the last week's episode, I felt like I misspoke a little bit. I was talking about the Youngling Amber Lager.
Okay.
And I feel like, so to me, the name lager really is just that you are using a bottom feeding yeast, and you're cold fermenting it, right? You can do anything. There's dark lagers. You can have any, on the range of maltiness or color, like they can be everywhere. I feel like I sort of mischaracterized that. So I wanted to just fix that. It is an amber lager, and the surprising flavor to me was the esters, not the maltiness. So the maltiness surprised me only because it's just kind of like you just don't expect it. But once you see the amber color, that's what they're going for in the maltiness. It just was a surprising level of esters. That's what surprised me, not the color. I felt like I kind of mischaracterized that a little bit because I was not expecting a Pilsner. Pilsner would be generally light colored. So, okay.
Fair enough.
Fix that. Sorry. I'm sure there are people. Yeah, I know there are people listening. They're like, dude.
We got hundreds of emails. Dude.
Lagers can be any color, man. It was probably just me listening to myself going, dude, you're an idiot. Okay. And then the other thing this is beer news. So I've been kind of reporting on different hop festival or beer festivals and the results of those. Interesting results relevant to our local breweries and stuff. The Great American Beer Festival, which I reported on earlier, they had a delayed result for the fresh hop beers because they had to wait for the hops to be harvested and the beers to be made. So they just released their winners in the fresh hop category. Very relevant to the beer I'm drinking today. Single Hill wins again.
Really?
Yes. So it's the same beer. It's a beer called Energy Cone from Single Hill Brewing. Won the Yakima Beer Festival, Best in Show, and then it won the Great American Beer Festival Gold. It's pretty impressive.
Dominant.
Yeah. And then silver in the fresh hop category was Pint House Pizza with their fresh hop version of their Green Battles IPA. So.
And that's super local to you, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool.
So, very awesome. So I've had beers from both of those.
Yeah, you have a lot of wet hop cred.
I've been to Pint House Pizza, and they had 2 fresh hop beers. They didn't have this fresh hop Green Battles, but they had a fresh hop version of their Training Vines beer, which is very good. And they had another one. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, 2 fresh hop beers, both amazing. It's really fun. I feel like it's more of a trend this year. Like, I know these beers have been made, but I feel like I don't know whether hop availability is easier for more breweries, and more breweries are getting the chance to brew these fresh hop beers. But
I agree, because I don't feel like this has been a thing, or either it wasn't a thing or I just wasn't aware of it. But I don't know. I feel like it is kind of becoming more popular.
Yeah, I've seen so many this year, and it's not like, again,
is
sometimes
this the new trend?
Maybe. I mean, sometimes it's like you're going to buy a certain type of car and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. So I don't know whether just because we're more aware of beer in general with doing podcast research and stuff that now I'm seeing it. But I feel like because I've got a couple fresh hop beers off Tavour. They did a thing where they sent them out as soon as they got them. So they're fresh. I feel like I've never seen that on Tavour either. So I don't know. Anyway,
it's hard to say because we're kind of obsessed with wet hops right now.
Just the fact that I'm even more aware that it's hop harvest season. I've never been aware of that like I am now. So,
all right. Well, we'll pay attention, and then when we do our annual beer trends episode, we'll analyze that further. Yeah,
but personally, I've had 5 wet hop beers already this season, so that's more than I've ever had.
I've had 0 wet hop beers in my life, okay? So stop rubbing it in over there.
Winning.
That's really funny.
All right, so that's beer news and postscript all in one.
Perfect, you did great. All right, so we're ready for the main topic?
Definitely.
Okay, so we're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, the weird and the wonderful of beer names.
So many puns.
Yeah, when did this start? I feel like as craft beer became more popular, everyone wanted to get really clever with their names.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Which
just
makes
part of
sense.
just part of the competition.
And I feel like we kind of brainstormed it out some categories, and I guess we can go into each of these, but I feel like they fall into one of these categories. Puns, which I think should be illegal.
Oh, there's good and bad puns.
No, all puns are bad. Every time I hear a pun, I can feel a little piece of my soul wither and die.
Okay.
So that's how I feel about puns. Funny names, which has a little bit of overlap with puns, but puns can be cheesy, which isn't necessarily funny.
Yeah.
Political names,
Yep.
usually cashing in on like, the current political whatever. Epic / way too serious. And the designation here is like, I'll give an example. We're going to go back through these categories with examples, but my favorite beer in the world was Fundamental Observation. So that's a pretty cool name. But if that beer was not good, that would be it would fall into the way too serious side. But since it's really good and it has kind of a cool name that makes you think, then I'll allow it. It falls into the epic side. Does that make sense, Steven?
I think you're biased because you know how good the beer is. Because I think if you like just saw that on a tap list, like, oh, you just ordered it. Yeah. I don't know if you'd even roll your eyes. I think you'd just be like, yeah, okay. Can I have a glass of Fundamental Observation?
When it takes 10 seconds to say the name, that's when you know the name is serious.
Like, man, that's a lot of syllables for just 2 words.
And then the last the last genre that I feel like, well, there's 2 more genres. I feel like basic / low effort. So like a lot of brewers, which is fine. I think like Lagunitas IPA is one of my favorite just go-to IPAs, but they literally just call it IPA.
I think it's like, I don't know. I'm sure some of it is kind of like, yeah, that's our IPA. That's our flagship IPA. You don't want to call it anything other than just IPA, right? Stone IPA. Stone does the same thing.
Actually respect that.
Yeah.
But it's low effort.
Just direct. You know what you're getting.
And then the last is thematic. So like if you have a lot of like, we were talking about Russian River, there's a lot of Asians. So like consecration, supplication. And I actually really like that because it has like, they have brand DNA basically. Like when they introduce a beer and they end it in an Asian, it's like, oh, okay. It fits in with this theme. They're doing a theme. They're doing a thing over here, okay, Steven?
I do think it's like gotten out of hand.
They're running out, right?
There's gonna be shun words, but they're not gonna be that great.
I know, they're not gonna make any sense.
This one's called Fund Application.
They're gonna run out. It's only a matter of time.
It's because it kind of had that like sort of holy theme, right?
Yes,
sort exactly. Of that, Abbey church theme, sanctification, consecration, but then it's just like they ran out of the.
They're gonna have to invent some new words. Okay, so let's visit some of these categories.
Okay.
So puns. Do you know any good pun beers?
Well, so my favorite style of beer, Goza. There's so many plays on that word. There's a here goes a nothing. Anything goes a. What goes around comes around.
These are rough for me, Steven. Now, would you say these are good names or are these bad names?
Well, I mean, in a way, it's kind of nice that it's like the name of the beer is incorporated, or the style of beer is incorporated into the name. So it's like a good pun, but also like gives you information. Right?
Okay, fair enough.
Because there's beer names where like it could be anything.
That is actually true. You know what? I have a newfound appreciation for those types of puns because they're letting you know what kind of beer you're drinking. Which, Into the Darkness, or what is the beer you drink today? The beer we brew in darkness or something? The
beer. What we brew in the shadows.
Yeah, that's not. That being a lager is not communicated with that title.
Well, like, okay, here's a good example. This one from Chicago Brewing, they have a quad damn it.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
But it tells you it's a quad.
It's a quad.
Belgian quad. Or Heretic has the Make America Juicy again. That falls into the political category probably too, but it does kind of tell you what it's going to be, a juicy IPA.
That's
right?
true. Okay, I definitely appreciate them signaling what kind of beer it is in the name.
Oh, here's a good one for you.
Informative. Okay.
Here's a good one for you from Sasquatch Brewing. Hey, I just met you, and this is hazy.
Oh, that one really hurts my soul. That song is going to be stuck in my head for the next time. All right, I see one here. It's Duck Duck Goose from the Lost Abbey. You're right. You know what? This is a sub-theme of the puns. They almost always declare what kind of beer they are.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I can appreciate that part of it.
Yeah, I saw another one. It was like a Kolsch. What was that one? Oh, Baby, It's Kolsch Outside.
Oof. Oof. I like how the song names and the puns all go together.
Oh.
All right, can we depart from the puns as fast as possible?
No, I need more. I did it all for the cookie by 50/50 Brewing.
Ooh, that one will date you. That's Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. Tacklebox instead of Tacklebox. Tacklebox.
Again,
No.
declaring what it is. It's a Bach, right?
Yep. 3 Rise Men.
Okay.
Hey, that's from Rubens. Okay, we gotta give him a little cred.
Okay.
Paled It.
Okay, I like that one. That's so stupid.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Vladimir Bruton.
Is that a Russian?
I wonder if that's a Brut IPA. I don't know. I wonder if it's...
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know. Huh.
All right, fair enough. They didn't succeed in them
No, like you're confused.
indicating. Yeah, I'm very confused.
Okay, are we done with puns?
Done with puns.
Did I
I want to be done with puns.
Did I pun you to death?
Did. Let's do
No more
funny.
puns. No more puns.
No more puns. But closely related, because I know some people think puns are funny. Let's go to the funny category. So I have to tell the story of the best funny beer name of all time.
Okay.
So I don't know if anyone's seen this, but there's a reporter and she's on the news and she doesn't know she's live and she's just looking at herself. It's her and another reporter. And she must be looking at herself in the monitor and she just kind of declares, "I so pale." Because I guess she thought she looked pale in the monitor. And her co-host kind of nudges her and says, "We're live." And then she's like, and she goes like immediately into the, her segment or whatever. And apparently a local brewery, I think it's 903 Brewers, so this must happen in Texas, made a beer called Isopale in honor of that moment. So
That's great.
that's a hilarious and very clever name. And if you just Google Isopale reporter, you'll probably be able to see that clip. I think that takes the cake for funny names.
Yeah, that's great. I think if you can play off some sort of like little pop culture reference, especially locally, that's great. I think if we're talking funny beer names, look no further than Evil Twin in New York.
Okay.
Their beer names are ridiculous. Like,
Really?
there's one that's, "I'm really looking forward to that cross-country road trip, except I've forgotten how to drive, double IPA."
Oh my goodness. Imagine ordering that at a restaurant.
Someone just walked by me with a surfboard in Prospect Park. Where are you going, IPA?
Okay, they're intentionally making them as long as possible.
Traveling this year? Nah, I'll rather stick around and catch up on New York City Pale Ale.
What is going on?
I always look forward to wearing my face, West Coast IPA.
Okay.
Pretty stoked about eating at my favorite restaurant. I've only had takeout from until now, IPA.
These are scenarios. They're not beer names.
I love it. I love it.
I think
How much cheese is even more cheese? Sour ale.
Okay, fair enough.
And they have a funny fruit series of like it's what is even blueberry anyway, or what is even blue raspberry anyway, and like what is even yellow watermelon anyway.
Okay, what is even blue raspberry anyway? That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
We drank blue raspberry cream soda the other day.
Yeah.
Or sorry, no, it was blue cream soda.
Oh.
And I think it was just cream soda that was dyed blue, but I swear it tastes like blue raspberry.
Yeah, probably.
What is that anyways? Blue raspberry flavor. It's like an artificial flavor, right?
Yeah. So this beer was brewed with like blue raspberry like drink mix.
Fair enough.
But yeah, their names are pretty funny. Oh, here's another beer flavored beer, pale ale.
Okay. I do also like that they kind of have brand DNA because all of their names are very, very long.
Yep. Yeah. No, they do a pretty good job of making some funny names. They have one called their Stout. They have the series called Even More Jesus.
I found one that's us, Steven.
Yeah.
The brewery makes a beer called Geriatric Hipster Club.
We're in that club.
We are. Old guys that think they're cool. Evil Twin has one called Ryan and the Gosling.
Yeah, see, their names are funny. Hey, girl.
Oh, I remember. I guess this is funny, but this is one that came up a lot. Ruckus Brewing has a beer called Optimus Prime.
It's kind of pun.
Kind of pun, kind of fun. I like Transformers, though. Pre-Transformers. The hipster in me. I like it before the movies came out. The movies ruined Transformers.
I did see one. It was kind of a pun, but it was Hoppy Ending.
Okay.
And the picture of the can art on the beer was like a hop on the massage table.
Nice. That's pretty funny. Okay, funny is good. I think that's safe because like you're not taking yourself too seriously.
Right.
So postscript to our breweries. Nah, I'd name my beers epic names. I don't care, but maybe some funny names too.
Yeah. Some puns in there too?
No puns. Puns are banned from the premises. Okay, so the next category is political. I think we found a couple.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, Heretic has their Make America Juicy Again. Of course, playing on a popular political slogan. There's another one, Make Russia Great Again. It was a Russian Imperial Stout.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and now anything you say, make something great again, is basically a joke. So
yeah. And then there was a Trump Hands beer. It was like a session ale, so they called it like their smallest beer, smallest ABV.
Ah. Yeah, there's a beer from Faro Brewing Company called Baroque Okrama. So you can just kind of do a weird pun on a political figure. I guess that's a thing you can do.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I did look. The Vladimir Bruton is a Brut IPA.
Oh, okay.
Can we do a little aside on Brut IPAs, by the way?
Yeah. What do you think
that
about
is a style that like crashed onto the scene. Bunch of breweries made them, and then it just is gone.
It vanished, right?
Yeah, vanished.
I liked them too. What did you think about them?
I hated them.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why they vanished. They weren't popular.
Well, the original creator of the Brut IPA says that like breweries didn't know how to make them right.
So they were all just kind of cashing in on the trend.
Yeah, and then it died off because they weren't good. But I don't know. I feel like that's a cop out. I think it was just a bad beer style.
I kind of liked them, but you're right. Like every brewery made one, like all out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was an interesting style. It was basically kind of like a champagne beer. So they would take like an enzyme and add it to the beer and make it like super super dry.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, that was just a side tangent on the Brut IPA, on the rise and fall of the Brut IPA.
It's a very short
we could do a full episode on the rise and fall of the Brut IPA, but it'd be like 5 minutes long. So.
Brutal.
Just in case you want to know how I feel about the brew.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel. This is the first time I feel like I got to ask you that. Usually I'm the one going on like a tirade. Okay, next topic. We got to get off political before it gets dangerous. All right.
We don't want to.
Epic / way too serious. So we touched on this before, but if you give your beer like a really, really cool name and then it's not very good, it's not a good look.
Yeah, I think Anchorage Brewing does a really good job of this because they have like Edge of Darkness and Into the Nothingness and Beneath the Water.
Yeah, and then they have really cool art that goes with it. Yeah, they definitely play into that epic name genre.
Yeah, and a lot of those beers are like dark. stouts and Deal with the Devil is their barley wine, and
Ooh.
they have some pretty cool dark names that like at least they match the beers. I'll give you an example of one that does not. So Adroit Theory, which actually they're very like heavy metal. Everything's very end of the world, apocalyptic. Sometimes they do very much sort of match the beer, but they did a Goza series called Illusion of Safety, and I will say, like, this is an epic bottle. This is a bottle I kept for a long time as something I thought I would, I always hold on to a bottle thinking I'll keep it forever, and then I finally come to my senses and throw it away. But this is one I kept around for a while, only because I loved what it said on the side. So this is what it said: the illusion of safety, or should we say the mirage that is our existence, day in and day out, never deviating from the numbing routine of eat, work, sleep, repeat, living in complete delusion that material possessions matter, that money, power, and status denote our individual worth, battling the constant gravitation toward the inevitable, our empty luggage of a carcass, void of meaning, strewn across a deserted highway, the shell we once knew, now a home for the carrion birds. And that was a raspberry goza.
It's like, by the way, we're selling a super luxury product to only people that are well enough to buy it, who live nestled safely in the inner cloister of culture and society. And this is a raspberry beer. But never forget, you could die at any minute, Stephen.
And of course, they have pairings on the side of their bottle too. And the food pairing is seared scallops with saffron, fettuccine, and asparagus.
Where are you going to get that in your post-apocalyptic society?
Anyway, I always loved how like deep and dark. I love that paragraph. It's fantastic, but it's very me and very nihilistic, but it just didn't quite match the beer.
It doesn't quite match the product. Yeah. That's the kind of thing you'd want like on a bulletproof vest or something like that, or not on a beer that requires refrigeration. Or
yeah, right.
That's awesome. I was trying to think. Oh, one of my favorite names, and I wish I would knew. I have no idea, but Parish Brewing Company has a beer called Ghost in the Machine, and I can't help but think if that's a reference to the anime Ghost in the Machine.
Gotcha.
That's also the beer that says, instead of brewed on, it says manifested on.
Yeah.
It's little details.
It's pretty awesome.
It's very epic. And that beer's amazing, so they can pull it off. It's a high risk.
One of the best. One of my favorite of all times.
Yeah, you love that beer. Yeah. And that's old school. It's old school, too. It's like kind of the IPA that we're used to, like that West Coast IPA.
Yeah, and the art matches it, and like the cool name. And
yeah, that's a really cool beer with a really cool name.
So I'll give you a few other really good Adroit Theory names that actually probably match the beers that they represent. But this one's called Imagination Atrophy. Thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, I like that.
Therapy Sessions. It's a long-running series for them. The Death of Chutlu.
Okay.
Is a Russian Imperial Stout. Strangers When We Meet. Now I Am Death, Destroyer of Worlds. Triple IPA.
Okay. That beer better be like...
That's a triple IPA.
Ever. Come on, you're quoting like...
Devil's Breath, Belgian Triple. Anyway, they have some very metal names. Yeah,
these are intense names. Okay, well, yeah. So I think I like going... It's a high risk, high reward, like I said. If you have an epic name, it has to be a really good beer.
Yeah. And then, I don't know if you want to move on. Is there another category?
Yeah, basic / low effort.
Well, I think it's funny because sometimes like the name of the beer is not really like funny or punny or descriptive. It's just like, I'm trying to think. Like Blue Note near you, they have like 9 Lives IPA.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. It doesn't really tell you. It doesn't tell you anything.
That's true. But they also have Blood on the Tracks.
Yeah. See, that's a good name.
That's an epic name.
Blood Orange IPA.
Yes, and it's kind of alluding to the fact that it's a blood orange.
Yeah, I like that. I'm just saying, there's beer names that are like, they're not even like dark, sinister, funny, punny. They're just like, I don't know. I got Dolphin Sparkles IPA.
Okay.
From Toppling Goliath. Awesome beer. I really was hoping that I could get some story, like backstory on that name.
Mhm.
Social media manager did respond to me, but
She did?
I always assume it's a she. I don't know why. I create people in my head.
That's funny.
She's funny and witty, so I just assume it's a female.
Hey, I'm funny and witty.
But their social media manager did reach out and say they were not sure of the origin of the name and they would get back to me. So I was hoping they would get back to me before this episode, but they didn't. But anyway, Dolphin Sparkles IPA. I don't know. Maybe they just pulled it out of nowhere.
Maybe. Could have no backstory. That's sort of disappointing if you have a cool name like that with no backstory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I do respect the just straightforward name. If you just want to call yourself like your brewery and then IPA, your brewery and then whatever, amber.
Yeah. Or just, the 512 Brewing Pecan Porter.
Because then you are communicating what you're getting. Because I think a little bit of this, like, having the fun and interesting and exotic names is, I think you're right, it is like competition. Like, you're trying to set yourself apart. But then at the same time, you're not really communicating, like, what you are. So, like, if I'm at the store and I see, one with nothingness, like, I'm going to make assumptions about it, but I'm probably going to have to either, like, read the back of it or look it up on my phone. Whereas if I see, whatever hazy IPA, I know what I'm getting into.
Exactly. It's a dance. I think, too, what's important is, like, and I think maybe that's why these names have evolved, is the fact that can art has evolved. So I think, like, you kind of have to match your can art with your...
Yeah, you're trying to do... I do
name.
appreciate, like, brand DNA. And it's funny, we didn't mention it. I just thought of this. Gosh, now I'm not going to remember their name. You just went there. It's in...
Ballast Point.
Sorry, yes, Ballast Point. A lot of their beers are named after fish.
Okay. Yeah,
like Grunion and Sculpin. Aren't those fish?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so they're doing like a thing. I definitely appreciate that. Like if you have an art theme or like any kind of theme like to your brand, that's kind of cool. You like doing that thing that kind of sets you apart.
I like it.
Cool. Any other fun beer names you want to add? We didn't cover what's the best. What do we think? Well, we've covered this before in the past, but we can rename it here because it's very relevant to the episode. But what are your favorite brewery names?
So, I like St. Arnold.
Patron saint of beer.
Yeah, I will consistently say that's my favorite. I just think it's the fact that there is a patron saint of beer, first off, is amazing.
It's pretty dope.
And then to use that in your in the name of your brewery is pretty cool. Again,
high risk, high reward. You're naming yourself after the saint of beer. You better make some goals. And they do. Yeah. So.
Yes.
And I think my favorite brewery name has always been 21st Amendment. So, repeal of prohibition.
Yeah.
It's too good.
This isn't a brewery name, but it's a beer name. I always like Pliny the Elder from Russian River. It's named after Plinius the Elder, one of the first people to document different hops, like to catalog hops and hop varieties. So pretty cool.
That is actually a really good name and like an important person in the history of beer.
I'm trying to think. It's really funny when I look and I think of breweries. So many of them are named just like after the region they're in.
That makes sense.
There's Austin Beer Works here, and we have
a son here. We
have Zilker Brewing, which is right down by Zilker Park, and
Russian River. It's because it's by the Russian River. We have Berryessa. It's by Berryessa. Like, it's a pretty safe move to just name yourself after your local area. Sierra Nevada. It's close to the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I got a closing question for you.
Okay.
If you had a brewery, what would you call it? And maybe, you don't have to, you don't even have to make up a name, but I have to know, would it be a pun, funny, political, epic / way too serious, or basic, low effort?
The name of my brewery or like my flagship beer?
You can do both if you want.
I think brewery wise, I would probably end up doing something like regional.
Okay.
Like geographical.
Fair enough.
Just so people know where you are.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You're kind of signaling that.
And I'm not that creative, so that would help.
You just call it Stevens Brewery.
And I would definitely use a pun in my name. In my flagship goes I would definitely.
I know you would.
Yeah.
It's Brew.
I don't know what it would be, but it would be as punny as possible, just to troll Jason.
I would hate that.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
you would love the beer.
Oh, that'd be the real.
I'd be like, but you can only have a glass if you say the whole name when you order.
Order it by name.
You're like, just give me the goza. Like, no. Oh, which one?
What is it? Yeah. You're gonna have 20 gozas on the menu.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to differentiate.
All right, fair enough. So you're going region / pun.
Here it goes again.
Oh no. I'm canceling our friendship.
Where the wind goes.
No, just stop. I don't like any of these names. All right. Well, my brewery, I'm going epic, way too serious. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll be like Omega Brewing. The end. And all my beers will have really epic names. Maybe is one with nothingness a beer name yet? I mean, what's that?
And that's just your lager.
That's it. Yeah, wait till you hear what my Imperial Barrel Aged Stout is called. It's Voldemort or something.
Black Death.
Yeah. So my beer better be really good or everyone's going to think I'm a laughing stock.
It's all right.
That's okay. Under the scenario where we open breweries, we're independently wealthy. So
yeah, so we're good. We don't care what people think.
All right, nice. Well, do you think we've covered the world of naming beers?
I think so. There's a lot of names. I'm actually honestly surprised that they just keep thinking of new names for beers.
They have to, right?
Yeah. Evil Twin just writes novels.
Yeah, they just like pick a random sentence off the internet. They're like short stories.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay, well, if we've missed some really good, bad, or ugly beer names, you should contact us at contact.attenuation@gmail.com and let us know. Or you can find us at Instagram at attenuation.podcast, where we have over 40 followers.
Yeah, forever and ever.
All right. Well, this has been episode 32 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason. I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
That's me.
Okay, see, either I kind of steal your line or you...
Well, I was waiting for you to just say it for me.
No, I'm getting better. And this has been episode 32. I think I already
said that.
So we are bidding you adieu and cheers till next week.
Cheers, buddy.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Attenuation, a beer podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more fun content. Catch you next week. Cheers!